Let's see. Mr. Davis, who's our final representative, is now on Zoom. Representative Davis, you are recognized for your 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for calling this very important hearing. And I certainly want to thank all of our witnesses, especially those who came all the way from Texas, and I don't really care how they got there, whether it was by plane, train, even if they had to walk. I think they would have been there just the same. So I thank them for taking their time and for coming. As a matter of fact, I call them my heroes and sheroes, and I call them that because I'm reminded that Dr. King was often fond of saying that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And so even though we've been talking about Texas, but there are many places throughout the country where there are efforts to suppress, deny, delay, and take away the rights of people to vote, and certainly not to enhance them, which is what it seems like we really ought to be doing, is trying to make it easier for people to participate in public decision making. You know, after Republicans failed to pass these voter registration restrictions during the regular legislative session, Governor Abbott called a special session to try to ram through these anti-democratic measures. Under Texas law, the governor must set an agenda for these special sessions by specifying what issues lawmakers should consider. There were 11 items on the governor's agenda, which he released less than a day before the special session began. He called these priority items that will keep Texas, and I quote, on a path to prosperity. I think we have a slide that might show those. If we do, could we have the slide? Well, we won't worry about it at the moment. Governor Abbott had some other things. There we are. As you can see, Governor Abbott has other things on his mind beyond just voter suppression. He also focused on banning transgender student athletes from school sports and on curtailing discussions of racism in Texas classrooms, and on further restricting a woman's right to choose. But you know what is not included on this list? There's nothing on this list about solving the problems with Texas electrical grid that caused widespread power outages during winter storms this year. And I think we have a slide that would show some of that. Over 200 people died. An investigation by NBC News, the Texas Tribune, and ProPublica blamed the power failures for an unprecedented wave of carbon monoxide poisoning. Our subcommittee on environment is currently investigating these failures. Representative Collier, what was your reaction to Governor Abbott's failure to include further action on the electrical grid for this session that he called?
Thank you, Congressman. Great question. It was a missed opportunity for the state legislature to actually take action to provide the needed infrastructure and information and backing that Texans need. We have Texans now who are still conserving energy, and so we have not fully answered the call to provide necessary resources for Texans when it comes down to our power grid. We need to reinforce our power grid. We have so many other things that we could be focusing on. The governor not only failed to put on the power grid, but he also defunded the legislature in response and in retribution to the quorum break. So now 2,100 state employees who work for the Texas legislature and the legislative branch will be without health insurance in a state that already has the highest number of uninsured Texans. So unless the governor takes action, we will continue to see the erosion of humanity in this state.
Thank you,
Well,
Ms.
thank you.
And thank you,
Reverend
Mr. Davis.
Burnell, you cited systemic failures that led to these outages, including
Mr. Davis, forgive me, well, we're going to have to go vote. Your time has expired, so I'm afraid we'll have to cut it off there, but invite you to, continue that line of questioning in written questions to the witnesses, if we could.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back and thank the witnesses again for coming.
And